Hi, boys and girls. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day and is being extra good in class like I know you are. So I first need to give another shout out again to Gavin H. for being such a good sport and letting me pick on him in class on Friday. So thank you. You know I didn't really mean it. And I also want to give a shout out to Tamia for being also a good sport and putting up with those boys every day and working very hard in class. So thank you. I appreciate it. I know it's difficult. So hopefully everyone has one of these foldables. Yours might have the symbols in a different order, but that's okay. Just make sure you write the words under the correct symbol. I'm going to walk you through each one. So we're going to start with the division symbol first. So what we're going to start doing is we're going to start talking about word problems. You're going to be given a word problem and you need to write the equation. And the easiest way to do this is to identify the key words in what operation they tell us. So hopefully you have this in your table of contents and you have everything headed. So this is division. So we can write division obviously with the division symbol, or we can write it with the A over B with the fraction bar like this, or the fraction bar can be slanted to the side here. And here are some words or phrases that whenever you see these words or hear that phrase, that means that you need to divide. So we've got quotient, shared, you could also say shared equally, ratio, divided by, ratio of, half. So you could do half like x divided by 2. You can also think of half as multiplication. You can think of it as a half x that way. But it's really, this is the same thing as saying x over 2. And then we have the words separated and we have the words into. So quotient, shared equally, ratio, divided by, ratio of, half, separated, and into. All of these words and symbols means that we need to divide. So you're going to have something that will look similar to this in your equation, depending on what the number is. Okay, so copy those down, pause if you need to, and then we'll go on to multiplication. Hopefully those are under your division flap. Right, here we have multiplication. These are our symbols. Obviously we have the x. You've got the dot when you see just parentheses. Okay, that could mean that you're multiplying the number. So if there's a number right outside of those parentheses, let's say there was like a 3 right there, that would mean that you're multiplying. Okay, we have the little asterisk that I use in class all the time. 2 letters next to each other, a number and a letter next to each other. All of that means we're multiplying. Now here are the words. Obviously the word multiply, multiplied by, product, multiple, double, triple, twice. Double means multiply by 2. Triple is multiply by 3. Twice is multiply by 2. Times of. I'm going to go through those again before I talk about these last section here. Multiply, multiplied by, product, multiple, double, triple, twice, times, and of. Now this next section here, please make sure you note this here. Each, every, per. These words are actually division. But, I wrote but there and I didn't actually finish what I wanted to say. So we can write it as multiplication. Okay, I will show you an example of that. So make sure you have all of this copied and you can pause, then I'm going to show an example of what I mean by how each, every, or per is actually division, but we're going to write it as multiplication. So I have this problem, excuse me. If it costs $3 per bag of cookies, how many bags did you buy if you spent $15? Our first step whenever we're solving a word problem, our first step is always to define your variable. So you're going to define your variable. Okay, you can use X, you can use bag B for bags of cookies, you can use whatever you want. I usually just use X. So here x is equal to the number of bags of cookies. How many bags of cookies are we buying? Okay, then step 2, you can write your equation. So it costs $3 per bag. Okay, and while you're doing this, actually, I'm going to pause this for a second. I'm going to kind of add in another step just to help us here. So step 2 is look for your keywords, and then step 3 will be write your equation. Sorry. So look for keywords. So like here, we have per bag of cookies. Okay. So if it costs $3 per bag of cookies, how many bags did you buy if you spent $15? Now we've got $3. This is also an important part here. So step 3 is to write your equation. The way we can really think of this is like a proportion. So if we have $3 for 1 bag of cookies, well, how many bags of cookies, I don't know, I have 2 equal signs there. How many bags of cookies? So here's $3. Here's the bags of cookies down here. How many bags of cookies did we buy? Remember, this is bags of cookies is X. This is bags of cookies is X. This is the bags of cookies here. If we spent $15, the money goes up top. And this is a proportion. See how we're dividing? That's what per really means. Now everyone here knows cross multiplication, or you like to call it the butterfly method. So now step 4 is to solve. And watch what happens when I solve. I'm now going to get 3x equals 15. And what's happening here? We're multiplying 3 times the number of bags of cookies to get $15. Now to solve, we'd have to divide both sides by 3, and x would equal 5 bags of cookies. Right here is how I expect you to write this. When you see per, please know that it technically means that we're dividing. We are almost always going to write it as multiplication. So $3 times the number of bags of cookies that we bought would give us a total of $15. So you would write this as 3x equals 15. Okay, so I just kind of wanted to show you the why. I didn't want to give you completely wrong information when I told you that per is multiplication, because it is technically division, but this is how we're going to write it. All right, let's do our subtraction. All right, so symbols for subtraction are obviously our minus sign. Here's our word, subtract, difference, decreased by, minus, how many more, left, reduce. All of these right here, you write it in the order that it gives it to you in. So for example, if it said subtract 5 minus 2, we would do 5 minus 2. If it says what is the difference of 5 and 2, you would do difference 5 minus 2. What is 5 decreased by 2? You write it in that order. This part down here, these next 3 that I have, are something called turnaround subtraction. So you turn around the order that the numbers are in. You switch them. Less than, fewer than, from. Anytime you have the word from, so subtract from, you're going to have to turn it around. So if you hear, what is 2 less than 5? Instead of writing it as 2 minus 5, 2 less than 5, you're going to turn them around, so it's actually still 5 minus 2. What is 2 less than 5? So anytime you see less than, fewer than, from, you take the order that they give you the 2 numbers, and you will turn them around, you will switch them, and then subtract them. All right, pause and copy that if you need to, and then we're going to go over to addition. All right, here's addition. Obviously, we have our plus sign. And our words, these should be a little bit easier. Add, sum, increased by. together, you could also have all together, more, and, plus, combined, both, in all, total, additional. So add, sum, increased by, together or all together, more, and, plus, combined, both, in all, total, and additional. All of these words mean to add. Get those copied, and then I'm going to show you 3 practice problems. All right, I lied, we don't have practice yet. I forgot to write this. So when you glue this in, make sure that you have space left over here. Hopefully you didn't glue it in already and you left space because I forgot. I'm sorry. So equal. The equal sign, if you hear the words, is, are, were, have, has, will be, the same as, equal to, the result is, or anything that means any of those, we write an equal sign. And then we have to use parentheses if you hear something similar to times the difference of, or double, triple, twice the sum of, plus the difference of. So whenever you have like the sum of, the difference of, that means you have to put that in parentheses. Now let's do our practice. A gym charges a $50 activation fee and $17 per month for a membership. If you spend $365, for how many months do you have a gym membership? So remember, step 1 is to define your variable. So what is x here? What is the unknown? We're trying to find how many months. So x is the number of months. Okay. Look for our keywords. So charges a $50 activation fee and $17 per month. If we spend, so that's kind of like our total, right, is $365, okay? So we have, write our equation, 50, and means we add, $17, per means we multiply, per month, well, we don't know how many months. Months is our x. And we spend, that's our total, so that's equal to 356. Now we can solve. Subtract 50 from both sides. 17x equals 306. Divide both sides by 17. And we get 18 months. X is equal to 18 months. That's it. All right, another problem. Carl spent $35 at the market. This was $7 less than 3 times what he spent at the bookstore. How much did he spend there? All right, so we're noticing a theme with the spent here. So step 1 is to find our variable. So x, what are we trying to find? The x is what we're trying to find. How much should he spend there, which is at the bookstore? So x is the money spent at bookstore. Now let's find our keywords. So he spent $35. This is $7 less than 3 times what he spent at the bookstore. So after our equal sign, the spend is our equal sign, we have 35. $7 less than. Well, what is less than? It's a turnaround subtraction. So that means we're going to take this 7 and this 3 here, and we're going to put them in the opposite order. And it's 3 times. We don't know how much he spent, so that's our x. So it's 3x minus 7 equals 35. Now we can solve. Add 7 to both sides. 3x equals 42. Divide both sides by 3, and x equals $14. All right, one more. Twice the sum of a number and 6 is 32. Find the number. So our x is a number. That's what we're trying to find. The x, or your variable, is always what you're looking for. Identify our keywords twice, the sum of, and is. So twice is 2 times. The sum of, remember the sum of tells us that we need to use parentheses. Sum means that we're adding, so a number, we don't know what the number is. And I should have underlined that too, and also means that we're adding. Is our equal sign. Now we solve. Distribute. 2x plus 12 equals 32. Subtract 12. 2x equals 20. Divide both sides by 2. And x equals 10. And that's it. The key to writing equations from a word problem is to identify those key words. Make sure you have all those words written down in your foldable. That way you can always refer back to that as we're doing these word problems, which we are going to do in class tomorrow. Don't forget there's a quiz on Thursday. Bye.